Next on the Broadway show, The Phantom of the Opera is here. We're celebrating the 35th and final anniversary of Broadway's longest-running show. Plus, we don't want to wait. Katie Holmes is on the show and back on the stage in The Wanderers. And the Oscar goes to? You'll hear Broadway vet and 2023 Oscar nominee, one of the stars of Everything Everywhere All at Once, Stephanie Hsu. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show. It's The Broadway Show, and we're back with another good one. I'm Tamsen Fadal. It's a bittersweet Broadway anniversary. The Phantom of the Opera just celebrated its 35th anniversary at the Majestic Theater in New York City. Andrew Lloyd Webber's masterpiece is the longest-running, highest-grossing musical in Broadway history. But sadly, this is Phantom's last anniversary. Here's something else cool for Phantom's 35th anniversary. The celebrated cellist known as Hauser just released a new version of the show's main theme. His cello was backed by the musical's orchestra. Along with the new cello-forward rendition comes this music video that was filmed on stage at Her Majesty's Theatre in London. Once again, after 35 years, Phantom takes its final Broadway bow April 16th. It's been 25 years since Dawson's Creek made its TV premiere. Launching in 1998, the TV drama featured some of Hollywood's biggest teen heartthrobs. These days, some of those actors are doing their best work. Michelle Williams, for instance. She's nominated for an Academy Award this year for The Fabelmans, and she's not the only one. Paul's here with the story.
That's right, Tamsen. Katie Holmes is back on the New York stage in The Wanderers. I sat down with the multi-talented star to talk about what inspired her to take on this new play. Katie, so good to see you.
So good to see you.
The Wanderers, off-Broadway. This is actually your off-Broadway debut. I've seen you on Broadway twice. Yeah, you're part of an amazing ensemble at Roundabout. Tell me about getting the script and digging into it. Do you sort of have a moment when you read something you just say like, okay, this I want to do this? Like, was it one of those kind of projects?
Because I feel like Anna has written something structurally that is so on point. So it's really fun because when it's really good writing, you know, we're going to be discovering stuff until we close. You know, there's no, it's alive itself. So that's when you feel that, it's like, oh, I want to be a part of that. That's exciting.
So you play, I think you play a famous person.
I play
Typecasting?
a well-known actress.
Okay, a well-known actress. That's something you know about.
I think what's interesting about Julia and Abe's connection is it is on the internet or through emails. Both of them at a point in their life where they're looking for a friendship outside of the roles that they've chosen in their lives. Sometimes I think that like, it's interesting to explore the intimacy of strangers, and both of them are trying to balance big careers with family life. And there's also an interesting ending to them that I think really works.
I've seen you on Broadway, I've seen you on stage. I've actually sat behind you in the audience, so I know you go to theater as well.
What show?
Ghosts with Uma Thurman at Williamstown Theater Festival.
That was, oh my God.
You were sitting right in front of me.
That was fabulous.
I know that you go to theater, you love theater. What do you love about sort of taking time out of your schedule to dedicate to doing a play and being on stage in front of audiences?
I'm an actor, so it's a great job to have at the end of the day. I've been directing recently some films.
Yeah, I've seen your films. Fantastic.
Thank you. And this is an opportunity to be an actor again and to be held in the arms of these other actors and to hold them as well. I think that's what we do for each other. We become one unit in telling this. And to do something on a New York stage is so exciting. And I think this is an important play. So I'm very, like, really excited to be a part of it.
Do you get nervous to get on stage? Is it still sort of like a different,
Definitely.
different
Like
tools?
I've already started, like, you know, it's hard for me to fall asleep now. Like, uh-oh. I go through my lines a lot. And to me, it's like a sport. So it's like the timing, you know, your body has to be ready. And then it's also like you're watching your castmates and you're seeing their beautiful work. And so you want to, like, you don't want to up.
Right.
If they're doing great, you don't want to, like, mess it up.
Yeah.
And so there's all of those things.
Yeah.
And I never get comfortable.
Can you tell me something about, just because I missed it, and I really wish I'd seen it, your Lola and Damn Yankees, please. You played Lola in Damn Yankees.
In high school.
Yes. Can you just give me one little nugget about it? What was your favorite part about it? What was your favorite number? What was your favorite moment?
My director was Damian Rogers. It was done at St. John's Jesuit High School. And they have a wonderful musical program. And I had worked really hard in my high school career, and I never really got a part. I was in the chorus, but finally my senior year, I got the part.
Big part. It's a good part.
Big part. And he was such a great director. He impacted all of us in such a profound way and really made theater meaningful. And I have been thinking about that experience so much doing this. He would always read the last chapter of Franny and Zooey by Salinger on opening night. So we were all grounded in why we were there and who's out there, and do your best. And it just sticks with me. So, Damian.
I love that. That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a need for a Damn Yankees revival on Broadway. I don't know if you're ready to Lola.
Oh my God. I don't know that I have that in me, but I will go for sure. Maybe I'll see you there.
There's still a lot more to talk about on this edition of The Broadway Show. Coming up, it's 300 years of Broadway history all in one place. We're going to take you inside the brand new Museum of Broadway. This is The Broadway Show, and we'll be back in a few. Thanks for staying with us for this latest edition of The Broadway Show. Glad you're here.
The universe
He speaks of senseless things
is so much bigger
script is you and
than you realize.
A big shout out to the most nominated film at this year's Academy Awards. It's Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. 11 nominations, including Best Picture and Best Supporting Actress for two-time Broadway vet Stephanie Hsu. We've seen Stephanie on Broadway in Be More Chill and SpongeBob SquarePants the Musical. Let's flash back to last spring when Everything, Everywhere, All at Once first hit theaters.
So good to see you.
So good to see you too.
You're having a moment.
I'm having a moment.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. You suddenly are.
I
Everything,
see.
everywhere, all at once.
All at once. Today, every day, never again.
I know that you know what it's like to be in a Broadway show. I know you
Yes.
know what it's like to be in a hit TV show. What is this like and how does it compare?
Well, I think it's really crazy because, you know, we've always really loved this film, and it is your wildest dream that you make art and people respond to it, but I don't think any of us were prepared for everyone to be like, it's the best movie we've ever seen. So that's been really wild, and people are not only having their brains blown, but also emotionally really relating to it.
Yeah.
In some ways, it feels like Be More Chill on crack, actually, because when I did Be More Chill, there were a lot of young people who were also like, I feel so seen, I feel so seen, I feel so seen. And it is awesome.
Right.
And this, I think, is just, you know, in theater, you could be sitting in the back of the house and someone's face is like this big. And now it's the exact opposite, where people sit with my face for 2.5 hours and it's like on IMAX.
How do you describe it to people all this time? It must be great to have people actually get to experience it versus sort of describing it.
Totally. I definitely think it's a type of movie that you want to just know almost nothing about and just go and feel and go on the ride. But I would say that the movie is a truly never before seen kind of film about a family who is desperately trying to find one another through the chaos of life, but also the multiverse. And then it's really funny because everyone, you know, everyone always says, you've never seen anything like this. And every time we do press, we're like, we promise you, you've never seen anything like this.
No, really. No,
Unless
really.
you dream of Jamie Lee Curtis with hot dog fingers all the time. And even still, you probably have never seen anything like it.
You also got to work with Michelle Yeoh as your
Yes.
mom, who's an icon.
A true icon.
What was that like to actually get on set and to dig into these very emotional moments with her?
She is a true legend and carries that weight with such grace and play. She is so generous, and I can't believe I've been so lucky that I get to say that we were scene partners, you know? And we also just had so much fun. And I was really scared that I was going to be too weird for Michelle, because one of my characters is a villain and is, you know, blowing up people's heads into confetti and swinging things and, you know, dressed as Elvis. And that was one of the first scenes that I shot with Michelle, this like very weird scene. And I had rehearsed it with the Daniels, the directors, and all of a sudden I get to set and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have we done? You've turned me into a freak, and now I'm about to unleash my freak to Michelle. But luckily she's such a goofball too. I think the coolest thing probably for my mom is that they asked for actual family photos. And so they're baby photos of me with my mom, but they photoshopped Michelle's face onto my mom's face. So it's actual baby me, but it's Michelle with my mom's body.
It's the Museum of Broadway, right in the heart of the Theater District on 45th Street. It's an immersive and interactive experience chronicling the history of Broadway, the biggest shows of all, not to mention Broadway's biggest stars. Let's send it out to Perry Sook.
Thanks, Tamsin. New York has always been host to countless museums and, of course, Broadway shows. But now, for the first time, it's combining both. I'm in the heart of Times Square, and right down 45th Street is the brand new Museum of Broadway. We start all the way back at 1732. What was that first play?
There was a show in December of 1732 called The Recruiting Officer, which is considered the first documented performance in New York. The Broadway we think of today is not the Broadway that was. Broadway was vaudeville. It was burlesque, knockabout comedy, slapstick. It was a sprawling entertainment mecca, as it was.
All right, so into the next room. I see Showboat here. A lot of people do consider this, you know, some of the beginning of the American musical theater. What was it about this show that made it different from what did come before?
The maturity and the excellence with which it was constructed and composed. Really, it is about the composition and how the art form is maturing.
I do see the Tony Award there. So when was the first Tony Award introduced?
The Tony Awards were introduced in 1947. And actually something that I think is interesting for individuals to know is that the nature of the awards was very different than it is today. So there were no formal nominees, there were no fixed categories, and everything was meant to be an outstanding contribution, not quote unquote the best.
So we are here with Diane and Julie, the co-founders of this museum. Awesome. So now it looks like we are in the room of the Jukebox Musical.
Ain't Misbehaving actually helped to pave the way for other jukebox musicals to follow.
So I know why rent is so important to me. Tell me why rent is so important to you in the museum.
We're both sort of rent heads back in the day. I think you were like in line. I think you were in, like waited in line or like did the lottery. It's just something that I remember being in like my dance classes and us singing Seasons of Love.
As we were talking about before, the art form continuing to evolve, and Rent was really instrumental in that.
We're here in the Hamilton room. What speaks to you from Hamilton?
I feel like it broke ground on so many different levels. Really, it brought in new audiences. It brought people back to Broadway to a certain extent. And then it's hopefully with all of its different extensions, like its brand extensions, will bring even more people to Broadway. So from that standpoint, that's exciting because that's what we're hoping to do with the museum too, is bring more people into Broadway.
Oh, and look at this, a little tribute before we get on the road, reminding us that Broadway shows are all around on the road. I actually got my big break with Shrek the Musical on the Broadway National Tour, and thanks to Broadway Across America, you also can see Broadway shows not only in New York, but all across the United States. Take advantage of that opportunity. I know not all of you are New York locals, and I know it's hard to get up here sometimes, so go anytime you can and go see Broadway. It'll make your life better.
Thanks for sticking around. I'm Tamsin Fidel. Mr. DeMille, she's ready for her close-up. After winning a Tony Award for playing Cher, Stephanie J. Block is taking on another diva, faded screen star Norma Desmond. It's the concert presentation of Sunset Boulevard at the Kennedy Center. But if you can't make it to D.C., not to worry. We caught up with the stars at rehearsal. Here's Paul Wontorek.
Stephanie J. Block, the greatest star of all. You are a humble, talented actress who has taken on these diva roles. I mean, we actually just got to see you in Into the Woods, where you got to be every woman.
Yeah,
but
every woman.
Now we're back in Cher mode,
yeah,
right?
A little bit, right?
Yeah, just jump back in.
Yep.
Back into the star mode.
Yeah, it takes a posture, it takes a confidence, but the beauty of this confidence is it's just fueled by so much insecurity and so much doubt. And, you know, when you hit a certain age, as I have hit, that sort of underbelly of Norma, I think, is very real for me as well. I just wanted to really make sure she was always human, even though it will hit all of the marks of theatricality and over the top. She has a mental health issue, you know, but something caused that. There's something real that happened. And in talking to Sammy, I said, I would like to hope that if there was the right medication or trauma therapy in the 1930s or 40s or 50s, this story could have ended differently. It really could have had a different story, but they didn't have any language for mental health back then. So she's defined as crazy and maniacal and imbalanced, and I'm hoping to find moments of joy and deep insecurity, but a humanity that the audience at the end will go, oh, crap, I wish this could have ended differently.
Sunset Boulevard, tempting boulevard, waiting there to swallow the unwary.
So tell me a little bit more about the Stephanie J. Block of it all. This is dream casting. She's singing the crap out of this role.
Correct. Hearing her thoughts about the process, really delving into the love story that is Joe and Norma, which I feel like in previous productions, it's a crazy story with so many elements that some of that gets lost. I mean, it's this woman who was coming back, trying to have this great like second wave of her career, and they honestly, there is this like really passionate love story between the two of them before things go sour. So I think we've really tried to harness that, and watching her assume this title character is crazy. And I have the best seat of the house, of course. I get to slow dance. I get to waltz with Stephanie J. Block as Norma Desmond.
People have been waiting for you to do a musical. I've been waiting for you to do this.
The internet has been waiting, and meanwhile I'm scared shitless.
Are you excited?
Yes, yes. I truly am. I feel it in like the pit of my stomach that I am scared, very excited, but I know that means I'm in the right place because it's just a new medium. Like I've now gotten used to TV and film, which is very like here, and Broadway's here. So it's new.
So much to say, not just today, but always.
These songs, I'm a big Andrew Lloyd Webber fan.
Me too.
Is it fun to get the opportunity to put your stamp on some of these songs that we've heard so many fantastic performers do?
It really is thrilling. And I have, of course, immersed myself in Glenn and Betty and Patty. And even though there is a common thread, their voices, all of them, are so singular that it really is a different storytelling depending on the placement, the tone, the emotional, weight that is being held when they're singing, that it allowed me a sort of sense of freedom to say, It's okay. It's okay. You can blend and do what you need to do, Steph, to make this happen and make it right for you.
This world's waited long enough. I've come home at last, and this time will be bigger and brighter than we knew it.
That's all for now. I'll see you next time. I'm Tamsen Fidel, and this is The Broadway Show.